wonder if anybody can let me know too. Let me know if the audio's working. That'd be great. Don't have the other secondary phone to check it out. We're just cleaning up a little bit today after the big job, the big goal. So, you got any questions? Want to chat about anything? That's the reason I do the live, always for the young bucks, for the old bucks, for the middle bucks, and even for some of the does. You're starting to think about getting into it, anything like that. Business, whatever, financial, jobber, systems, scissor lifts, garage doors, gate, business, real estate, money, I don't know what these are. Sky, refrigerators, power tools. Power tools, man. And like I said, if you get a chance, if you're coming through, that looks like a smaller one. This is a smaller one. Try to hit the number one, just let me know audio's working. Doggy, smaller? No, you like that. We're gonna create, right? Yeah. Now we got this. The big ones go there. I'll hit. Maybe I'll grab the other one too, just to make sure. I don't know if we got audio on this thing. I don't know if it turned on or not. Where would I find the other device? Well, the agenda today is still kind of full. It is trying to clean up. I'm trying to clear all this for a second. No, just clean it up. Clean it up, try to get the truck all cleaned back out. I figure out why this audio sounds a little bit on the echo side. Let's see if this helps out a little bit. If that helps the audio. I don't think this mic is hooked. What's going on here? Test. Test. No, it's not doing nothing. And we're green. How about you, Tanner? Go this down for a second. Play with this for a second. Something doesn't add up. Still trying to learn.
I bet that works better. Of course, now we probably lost the audio. Mic check. That does sound a little better. Sounds like it's really quiet, though. Or is that just me? Let's try a little closer. It's getting better. Okay, and if I turn this up, see if that does anything.
red was like a no-no. Oh, that seems like it's getting a little better. And you got negative test. Negative test. Yeah, that's not good. We're going to go up high. At least that's what I'm saying. I hope I don't squeal you out. No, just going through. Got a bunch of. This has been my new garbage bucket. Oh, man. So I'm going through, you know how when you're in like your table gets full, all your nuts and bolts and screws. So I like to save them. I hear some people do coffee cans or things like that, which works out fine. I got so many red screws, I'm not keeping the red screws anymore. For right now, those are going to the garbage. But just trying to get ready. I think later I'm going to try to get over to the shop. I got the power washer set up. I got the spray foam cannon. I'm looking at a different product to try out. I thought this, I'll show you here in a second. Get these screws out of my hand. Evan's in the house. Hello, Evan. Hope you're doing good. What's new? What's on the agenda this week? All right, so what did I do? Did I throw the other one away? Son of a biscuit. I think I did. Hopefully I didn't like throw it. This one's salt. Stand by. Let me look. All right. Somebody tune. All right. So I emptied out the whole truck. The truck got sprayed down just to get clean because it was there. So this is what I've been using for quite a while. And I think this works pretty good. I think this is a pretty decent product. It's okay, but I think there's probably something out there better. So I'm looking at this one. I think it's called Image. It's a two-step process. You spray it once with a foam, then you spray it again with another second foam. And then I watched a guy do a semi-truck, so I thought maybe that. But then I watched something, I don't know, I think I was on something for like salt. And I watched some videos and they were talking about boats and everything. But this didn't seem to get off that window residue. And I sprayed the window hard, with the power washer. So I don't think I'm a fan of this product. Yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of this. I think I'd rather take that salt. Salt's gone. If I had to choose, I would take this product. But I'm going to try another product. Because power washing is like the way to go for speed. Foam cannon, and it's quick, it's efficient, it's fast. You don't probably have to pay. I don't know what our detailer charges just for washing. I'm sure it's probably 60, 70, 120 bucks. So, and these come in like I think they're 5 gallons, the two, what do you call it? The two products. So it'd be 10 gallons total. Try it before you buy it. So if you guys would like me to let you know, I will let you know how the product behaves. Ooh. Oh, it's 2? Is this, what's the reason for on the weekend? I'm just curious. Evan, is it kind of what the customer, is it kind of what you wanted? Did it work better? They're going to be home, they're going to pay. Just curious, I used to do a lot more weekends, and you kind of try to take them off, and then you got to fit everything in. That was one thing I learned when you got to get like employees and whatnot, because you only have so so many days or so many hours in the day. So you have to get everything done. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it alone. PT, what's up, man? Do you see those ramp assist things I had? I bet that trailer would work okay if you had those ramp assist and some grips on there. But the other trailer's sweet. I'm sure that's nice. You can, what's probably nice, you can haul stuff on that too. It's kind of more universal. Because that does seem like that happens a little bit often. Where we try to, like this one, we had the doors delivered, which was fantastic. Everything worked great on that. The delivery guy is an awesome dude too. He's really helpful. So kudos for Clope on that. But I know there's occasion like, I know what it was. I was thinking about the job box. Of course, I brought the job box. Didn't need the job box, really. We were only there for 2 days. I'm thinking it's going to be like 3-4 days, you know, depending on what stuff. And stuff started to look like it was going to kind of crash. But it all worked out. It's better for doors. Seems like anytime doing doors installs lately, the phone blows up for service calls. Oh, that's a good point. You know, I don't know if this is, you guys believe in this trend or two. Ooh, I said we got 3 likes. Don't forget to hit the like button if you don't mind. So my theory is, it depends on kind of the size of your crew and stuff like that, but I'm trying to think if I was a one-man band. Yeah, if I was a one-man band, almost, I would definitely entertain, like, so for me, the common trend is always like you kind of leave Monday open and you kind of leave Friday open. Friday's kind of like that catch-all, like the stuff that starts bleeding over. And then either hopefully you can catch up on Friday, or what I've seen happen is people like to wait. It's almost like they called around, you know what I mean? They called your competition. And they're like, I need my door to work this weekend. We're coming up from Chicago, and we need it to, I need to be able to cut my grass. I got family coming over, and you're like, oh, all right, well. And then, of course, when you get out there, and you should charge them. Just hit them hard. And then you go out there, and they tell you, they go, yeah, it's been broke for about a month, but this week, I really got to get the grass cut. And you're like, you son of a biscuit. So... But, I think what pushed me over the top for a secretary was always when we were doing Lowe's. Lowe's just took me over the top. That was way too much paperwork, and they were constantly calling. I would always want to try, like, I would think for, like, Evan, I would assume they do it up there. I'm not sure, but, like, that Jill's office, and... there is getting to be a lot of AI. I'd really start playing around with the AI generated. You know, I don't know. They might not be able to do it. It might just be all kind of smoke and mirrors. But I would definitely try. I'd like somebody to try it and just see how they liked it. Try that Jill's office, and then this one's a dud. And then Jill's office or the AI. There's some AI ones, and I'm sure it's just like apps on your phone. They're changing by the month, so you could start, you know, trying different ones or whatever. It's kind of like music service to editing software, thumbnails, everything. It's always changing, right? But answering the phone is definitely key. But I keep telling you guys, you know, if I was Evan, if I was Caleb and stuff, like I said, get your heinies up in the morning, quit being lazy asses, and get up in the morning and change your voicemail. And I wouldn't, because like right now, I know like with Caleb, he gets like 6 calls a day of spam. I just got one the other day. And so if it was me playing in this game right now, I'd be waking up every morning. I'd be sitting there doing my, you know, hi, and thank you for calling Affordable Door and Gate. You've reached Dave. Or no, that's how I go, hi. I go, you reached Dave with Affordable Door and Gate. I'm not in the office today, or I am in the office today, because obviously you tell them if you're not, or whatever. But, you know, so I am in the office today, which is February 16th till 6 p.m. tonight. If you like, you know, I'm either helping a customer, you just jingle it however you want. Write it out. That's what I used to do. I'd write it out. I would ring it. I used to go outside. Because for me, I gotta like walk around to do it, so I sound like energetic. But I would go outside in the morning next to my old building there, and I'd walk it out. And I'm sure, I try to like, I do it like right in the mic, so like my neighbors wouldn't be hearing me out there at like 6 in the morning, like, hi, blah blah blah, like, what the hell is this guy? My windows are open, trying to sleep, man. So, somebody to love. All right. But I would be changing it, and then I'd also put in there that you do text. And then see if they text you or leave you a voicemail. And I would try to fire it back as soon as I can, but I don't know if you get a lot of spam. How am I gonna lay this out? You can do it, man. You just got to put your back into it. I think I should write this stuff out a little bit on this one. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, PT? Doors. It's a double gate is the bad thing. Ooh. Are you going? What do you got, Papa Tony? You got like you working on a double gate? Let's do it. Let's see it, man. I want to see it. I'll get off here. Let me know in the comments here. Let me go through. Watch the last video. Vendor provided same plastic weather seal that Home Depot sells. Home Depot might not be a bad idea. Wasn't close, but I agree with Dave. Leave Monday and Friday open. That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot. Like I try to hammer down like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are like like we got them scheduled, we got them planned. Mondays, because the way I always looked at it is you got the weekend, right? So you're not working the weekend. Nobody's working the weekend. So you got Saturday, you got Sunday. Everybody's using the doors heavily, right? Going to the mall, they're going to the basketball games, they're going to friends, they're going to go get groceries or whatever. So doors up and down, more than they would be during the work week. Because during the work week, what do? They leave, they go to work, they come home, they stay home for the most part or whatever. But during the weekend, open, close, lawnmowers in and out, snow blowers in and out, shovels in and out. So you got those couple days that you got nothing and then some people are smart, not very many anymore, but some, and they wait, right? So what do? They're going to call Monday and say, hey, my garage door broke Saturday, but I got it lifted up or whatever, and I got the car out, but can we get somebody out? And they kind of are ambitious, they kind of want it fixed. And then if you told them, said, well, if you would have called Saturday, I could have got you down for Monday, but Monday's full now. And they're like, I'll go call somebody else. It's 2 doors at location, so I don't want to leave too long with two different looking doors. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I guess it's not too, hopefully can knock them. I don't know what size doors are they, Evan? I mean, it's like little doors. You should be able to knock them out in a day. I used to do like 2 to 3 doors a day, residential. That was like different locations. Maybe one had same doors, but that was a long day. That's those long summer days. You can fit all that stuff in. Oh, yeah. That's right. The vendor gives you that. I don't know about the whole metal weather seal. What I do know is the hollow seal is just no good. No good operator, because that stuff, it shatters, it breaks. You can't use a nailer. That stuff's just no good. And what was the sad part was in that video, Jay told me, he said, hey, he goes, there's like, almost like they set a hot spring on it. He says, it's got a ripple in it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just didn't even, and it happens, and what kind of got me was that, why would you even send that? You know, I guess the theory is they probably thought we could use that for the 45s, is that even when the guys were loading it up. But boy, that sure did put a big pickle. I installed that, and I looked down and I was thinking, oh my gosh! I said, I can't believe I just did this. So I was not real happy with myself. So we're gonna put 2 in pack. I wonder what Tanner's got going today. Evan, you got anything going on for today? Cleaning, organizing. 1 drill. What else do we got in here? Oh, we got the band. Saw. We're gonna put socket and bits. There we go. It's kind of hard to identify everything in these. And I don't have a permanent, like, this is permanently going to be. So what I've been trying to do is use the tape. So I put the tape on the bins. I don't know if something like this would work good. I mean, if Evan got like a, oh, where am I going to stick this? We've got really a flat surface here. We've got a stuck out thing here. I think if Evan did something like this with a topper and a slide out, I think I'd get a topper with side doors, and then I would get it so I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have anything, no windows, probably. That's just me. The boogeyman can't look in. But if you did the pack outs on a slide out, it might work pretty good. I still don't know how you haul doors unless you use a trailer. Heading back now to the shop. So what was it, Papa Tony? Was it a double gate? 10x8s. Ooh, first time to do with a silverware, framing and door. Oh, arches, top corner. Oh yeah. The arches really stink. The 45s, we call them 45s. Ugh. Ooh, put on a Tuesday. Well, make sure you send me. That's probably a nice way to do it. You know what I mean? Window decal. That way you don't have to worry about it fading the paint if you decide to unload the truck or sell it or whatever. All right, there's that, right? This is all good. That doesn't go in there. The drill bits can go in here. That's what I got to put on there, drill bits. Drill bits. All right, let's do this. We'll do drill. Drill bits. That'll work. Man. Ooh, what you got? What you got going on tomorrow, anyways, Tony? I don't know if I want to load this over. How do I want to do this? This is probably not a bottom. Nope, this is not a bottom. See, it would be nice if you got a designated van, in my opinion, because this looks like a lot, even for a 6.5 foot bed. Even though I made it all fit, you get rid of the stuff out of your garage. It's in its own vehicle instead of putting it on, putting it off. But you know, it's one of those things. Guess you just can't have it all. But I know my truck stays cleaner because I'm constantly in and out of it. You know, pull everything out, put everything back, go through all my stuff. It's a lot of time, no matter what it is. Whatever, however you slice it, it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done to keep improving on. including myself, you know, just like I said, try to go get those trucks slobbered up, because I was thinking about, I was like, I could do it Monday. Caleb, myself, somebody can do it. And I thought, you know what, that ain't gonna work because the trucks will be out. So if the trucks are out, they're not going to be able to be washed. And it's kind of nice just to take advantage of this warmer weather. Because this week, it looks like we got really about this week, and then we kind of cool back off. So that'd be great, because we got a gate job to do. I think we're just, I don't know how much they need us on that, but we might get it ready. Get the job site ready for it. It's got a bunch of snow in the way. The only pro is that maybe we'll get the gate operator out of it, because the gate operator looks like it's still in working condition. It's just older. Maybe that one can be used for the shop, since the one that shops at variable speed and it always has weird glitches. It's always got so many glitches that it's just too many glitches. All right, so this is power tools. I got a whole different bin here, so I'm having a hard time. What's this one say? Skill saw. I don't see sawzall on this one. I think we'd want the sawzall on this one. There we go. All right, so there's that. I got spreader bars to put together, because we got inch to inch and a quarter. Oh yeah, stitch up decal they sent me. Nice. Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think the Windows one, that'd be pretty nice. That's what I'd probably do if I was, you know what I mean? What do they charge? I'm just curious. 2 windows? Are you doing like side windows and the rear window, or just the side windows? I think my business partner had side windows done on his. He had a, oh gosh, what was that? 2000 or 2001? I think somewhere in there. Chevy Silverado. I think he had some side ones. Maybe he had the back doors done. I can't remember. He might not want to do the doors. I can't remember if I ever had window ones. Remember he had the magnet ones for a while. And then I remember with the magnet ones, you learn that after so long, moisture gets under them and it starts kind of getting little rusty pits almost, in a sense, almost like the salt does. So that was kind of like a, uh-oh, that could be problematic. Red bag. There's that. The genie ladders work good. Said, this is right here. This is why I'm a big fan, because when we were leaving, right? Look at that. Kind of a waste of electrical tape. We were just in a rush. I was like, whatever. It's like, just throw it in there. Figure it out later. And then I had to be kind of cautious that it didn't blow out. Because you know it's going to blow out right in front of Johnny Law, if it does. There's just something about throwing it in the back of a van, shutting the doors. Like yesterday, I was thinking I pulled out. Oh my gosh. And I pulled out. And it was like, I was constantly thinking like, crap. Did I take my bins? You know, because sometimes I stack them up on that wood plank, whatever I got up on top. And I was like, man, I'm waiting for the day I leave one up there and I'm turning that corner. And you guys know, if you've ever been there and done it, you turn that corner and all of a sudden it's like, and you can hear it. And it's like that butt puckering, you know, oh no. And then it's bam. And either it shatters everything across, like all your screws across the road, or since I got red stuff, you know what that's going to be. you're gonna see like a gremlin just jump out of their vehicle and just grab it and run back to their vehicle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what it is. I don't even care if it's got dog doo-doo. It's red and it says Milwaukee, and I'm taking it. It's mine. Oh yeah, I can use this for my carburetor parts. Maybe that's what I should do. I should label my stuff like property. Maybe I should do that. Put some permanent marker on there, like affordable door, an address, phone number or something. That way if you do get somebody, because if you don't got nobody, how are they gonna know? Just an idea. I might have to get a knife for this. This is ridiculous. Commercial door adjustment. Oh, opener with stripped gear. Huh. Commercial has a linear opener. A linear. A linear? Like a commercial size? What is it? A stripped what? A stripped gear. What kind of gear? Like the commercial ones, unless it's a resi, the commercial ones don't have gears that I know of. They got a pin that falls out all the time. A roll pin. That's pretty common. Rip this apart here. Holy cow. Like I said, we got whole three lights. We're smoking here. For a Sunday. Electrical tape's just, guess I just gotta man up. Oh yeah, look at this bundle of joy. Yummy. This should be probably placed somewhere else or dumped. This wasn't even ours, but I knew somebody would think that was ours at the job site, so I took care of it because you got to be a good doobie like that. Is there anything worth? Ooh, these ones are flanged. I do like my flange. They have been working out nice. The older I get, the more I like them. Holy cow, 12 foot with a residential, huh? That's pushing it. That's pushing it. I ain't worrying about these things, too. I'd say if you're going 12 foot, I'd be doing the old screw drive. I'd be doing the genie screw drive. Me and my genie screw drive. I'm going to stay on the cheap side. It is kind of weird, though, when you think about it. Are these flanged? One is flanged. The other one is not. And it's dirty. You can go over there. So we're keeping that. What's always weird about, like, when you try to, like, I don't know, I guess I'd say, like, be more value conscious. So, like, I think when I go, you know, because I've had this a couple times where I was at a customer. Oh, I think it was that auto shop. That one will come up pretty soon here probably for a video. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know, like we could have probably done a genie screwdriver because it was like some wood doors. I think they're 12 by 12 or something like that. And I kept thinking we could have probably done genie screwdrivers on here, and that would have saved the customer, you know, a few $100, probably a little bit more. And then it was like we got down. It's always like the wall button. It's always those little things that get me. So when we got down to the wall button, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad we didn't do a genie screwdriver. You know, like I have some rinky-dink wall button here. You know, that would have been a bad combination. So I was glad I didn't do that. I think this is all garbage. There's some screws. Yeah, those are junk screws though. Screws that we burned up. So this is all garbage. Garbage. What else is it? I don't know. Sometimes it's just nice to have the overkill. You know, the rail was stiffer, heavier motor. I was like, don't do it, Dave. I was like, it's better to be overkill than underkill. So I'm glad we did what we did, which was the commercial style over the residential. But I would have liked to see with the Genie screwdriver. Probably had to do like a mid mount, because which ones are those? Those are hand tools. I probably should keep my power tools together. All right, we'll make some room over here. Whew. I don't know. They got a whole slew of things though. We'll see what happens this week. Oh yeah, probably got stripped. Yeah, it's probably, those bigger doors are just, they're beast. I've seen some ATS go through some go through some like hell. But I don't know, maybe you could upgrade them, sell them. I mean, like I said, you're gonna do the gear. It's hard to do sometimes. Every situation's so different. It really is. It's a very big challenge. Every situation's different. Every customer's different. Every door scenario's different. Got some water here. I'm gonna try to sop up. One of these got kind of salty on it. I don't like the salt on it. So what kind of gate was it? A gate? What kind of gate operator were you looking at there, Tony? It's just residential, like those cheap ones that got those cheap barrier arms. I'm just curious. I guess the one we're doing is a pretty big gas company. I won't say who, but it's a pretty big gas company in our area. So they're going to get I think it's for their trucks, because they do propane as well. So they're going to get a new gate and gate operator. But it's full of snow. The plow guy was not very accommodating to the location or the work status. I wonder how easy it is too to get that gear. Like, I wouldn't even know where to get one actually very promptly. I do have one vendor that might be able to, but for a linear, those are kind of far and few. Tony, you still running? If you're still here, you still running the two guys? There we go. Take these wires back, I think, to the shop, because yeah, we don't need this. This is what we always use, this West pen for the commercial. This works pretty good. Served us well. What is this, 18? 529, I don't know what it is. It's 18 something. Normally 18.2 and 18.4 is what we normally, I don't think we really need to do the shielded anymore. I got to figure out how the GFI is working in. I guess drift. Oh, yeah, Mighty Mule. Yeah. Those got me one time. I think I had to have the remote to set the limits. And that's why I'm always kind of a big, I think we've pretty much determined in the business that it's like we just don't even, we don't really mess with them. You know, they're kind of a, it's like we go in there with like the whole idea like it's a throwaway item. You know, basically if it has glitches, it has, I'm pretty sure I lost money on one. And it was very complicated to try to get stuff figured out. And I was pretty upset. I had to bring the Wifetron out because I was getting so upset with like reading instructions and what it was. Ouch, that got me, a little booger. And so I was like, then when I realized that I couldn't set my limits without as far as I know, I think I had to have a transmitter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so of course, the lady that it's hers, she's at work, and I don't think there was anywhere close to obviously get a transmitter. So I was like, had to call her, do the whole, hey, by chance, can you come back and bring the transmitter? And then we finally got it. But just not cool. Not cool. So to me, it's like there's a pretty big probability that we're going to, it's like I almost try to weigh out the customer. Like I'm like, so how old is this? When have you had these problems? Like, and I think they're pretty much built on the all same platform. I couldn't even tell you really that if I'm like, I think LiftMaster might have a little bit better operation in their control boards, a little more, tech friendly, but I think they're kind of built all the same. They're kind of built junk, like they're not made to last a super long time. It's always that California thing I always say. It's like they were built in California. They were not built in Michigan. I'm still a big believer that Michigan, the Oscos, those were originally built in Michigan, and that's why they got the best cabinets, in my opinion. So, I mean, I know Jeannie wants me to hook up with them and start doing some gate operators, but I don't know enough about them yet. Burp. Neither. Just kind of laughed. Sorry, buddy. There's no video. Yeah, you probably did the right thing, honestly. Punt, I think, is what the word term Cap uses. He's told me that a few times. I learned to listen. I've learned to listen. A couple times I went against his judgment when he would say, "I think we should punt this job," and I'd be like, "Oh no, man! Like, we got this. We can do it." And we get like halfway into it, and I'm like, "God dang it!" I'm like, "You're right. We should have never done this job. It was really stupid," So, yeah, isn't that fun? Isn't it fun? But what could have you done? What could you have done better, PT? Maybe if you got a little video from the customer, if you would have got pictures from the customer, or is it just this is kind of a learning all in general? I mean, is there anything you could have done better to either prepare or just say, nope, sorry, unfortunately, do not work on those, and saved yourself a trip? I don't know. You tell us. One, of the first to do digital limits 30 plus years ago. I didn't really notice that. I know Stanley, Stanley's like, it's like one of those companies that's like there's something to them. You know what I mean? They're kind of like the Craftsman. Like Craftsman's really turned to crap now, but like, you know, but like that was like, what was it called back then? Robux? Not Robux. Gosh, what's the name? Somebody put in the comment. But, you know, with Sears, then Craftsman, and man, they were the man, you know, they were ahead of their time. Like when I look at it and I think about how they, were the ones that like, they used to have these, I forget what they're called, but I'll just call them, they're the cookie cutter house you could buy from the magazine. I was like, what? No way. And yeah, you could buy a whole kit. So a man could buy a kit, get it delivered, start building his house after hours on the weekend. I just worked at a customer that said that his house was built like that. They did the floor, and I was like, what, how they, and he goes, then it sat, he says, because he ran out of money or somebody, I think the guy died. And I was like, well, what'd they do? And he said, well, the flat roof, he said, they just turned it to rubber, you know, the floor, so it wouldn't leak. And then they lived in the basement. And then eventually, whatever, you know, 20 years later or something, 15 years later, he goes, I bought it. And then he says, I finished, finished building the rest of the house. He's like, but that was pretty common. He said, back then, where we buy everything completed. Bunch of spoiled brats. That one's locked in. I must say, whoever did design this pack out stuff, they did a damn good job. They knew what they were doing. Zero. Wow. So Stanley was, huh? I wonder if see, I always like when I was kind of getting into the game back in 06, you know, Stanley was always like, it was real hit and miss. It's like some you'd hear, they're like, yeah, this thing's, you know, 20 plus years old. And you're like, dang. And it was like, sometimes I'd go to places and they're like, yeah, I didn't even make it 5 years. I'm like, yeah, what a piece of crap. Like, yeah, they just, you know, these Stanleys. And I always knew if they had the screw knobs in the bottom. I learned pretty quick not to touch them. I always messed with a J-arm because for some reason, it's like I start messing with those limits and it would never come back. And I never opened one. I just would get to the point, I just tell the customer, say, we got to replace this. Like, it's junk. And because I didn't know where to get parts or anything. And we had the LiftMaster, man. Ooh, did we have the LiftMaster? Those were beautiful units. Just installed them, never went back. They'd blink. That'd be the only thing. They'd blink. But I always make sure I explained to the customer. I would show them. I'd hit those photo eyes. I'd say, look, I said, the only time this thing will ever blink is these photo eyes. And they, okay, you know. And that's what happened. They call once in a while, you know, and that was it. Otherwise, they just ran and ran and ran and ran. No problems. No LED problems. Of course, we didn't have LEDs back then, but, you know, just put them in, walk away. One of the better ones. It was because the chain fell off. Tire resetting. And it looked like the board died. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were, like I said, if they got those screw knobs on the bottom, don't touch them. Don't touch them. If the door's got the right stroke to it, I mean, up and down, just, you know, mess with that J-arm. You know what I mean? Don't even mess with those limits. I don't touch those limits. I'll mess with the J-arm all day to the very end until I have to touch those limits. I've even drilled holes in the J-arm to accommodate what I needed for push down or whatever. I've messed with moving the operator bracket because I know better. I don't touch those old stands. It's like they're set in their ways. Even actually Chamberlain with the mechanical limits, I will do it to a certain extent. I'm not so scared of those anymore because I understand what they do. But they got those metal tabs. And like I said, it's weird. You'll crack one open. You'll never see fuzz on it. You'll never see algae on it. You'll never see green mold on it. You'll never see corrosion. But all you have to do is take your razor blade, sit there and just kind of scratch the surface of where the contact is on both surfaces. And for some reason, it'll work and it'll be fine. But if you're ever having a problem where it's like bucking on you, and I mean, you just turn it just a fuzz, man, just a fuzz. And it's like, now it's like too much pressure for down. And you're like, what is going on? Or even the up, I think, can do it. Like it'll be going too far up and smashing into the bolt, which is not good. Because then you got to get the old vice grips out and back off the motor to get it to release. But it's those mechanical limits. Something it's to get this weird, like, clear film on them. I've never seen nothing pop off of them or anything. But as long as I go in there and scrape them, they're normally good. But anytime they start bucking on me, I'm like, yep, we got to pull the cover off. So sometimes, for some reason though, they won't do it unless you mess with those limits. But once you mess with those limits, it's like you open up the can of worms. So, as if you're in a Speedy Gonzalez mode, you know, otherwise, just take your time, do it right. I've even done it just as a preventative maintenance. Do it because I just don't, especially depending on where the distance is of the job, I just don't want to actually start doing it, and then I have to go back. The customer's calling like, the door's making a really loud slapping noise. The chain's doing weird things, or maybe it breaks the sprocket or something, you know? All that extra force. I've been thinking, because that one job I just posted that video, for one, we didn't know what was wrong with that opener. Now the door could have been broken spring or whatever, but I think I would encourage, I don't do it all the time. I remember more now because I do it for you guys, that I'll say, oh, this is the last journey for this door. It's kind of a symbolic, like, you know, it's been running for 20, 30 years. You know, it's been serving this family or homeowner for this many years. You know, it's kind of a salute your shorts. Remember that? Anybody ever watch Salute Your Shorts? Probably not the right generation. But anyways, it's kind of a salute, you know, to a goodbye. And, but it also lets me know, right? Because what did I just do? I think we had a picture. Oh, see, this is another reason why I like getting pictures from the customer, right? Because that's almost like pure evidence. Because we did one where I think I just did a short, and we were trying to put some garbage in the bottom, and it wouldn't seal. And so what I like is the fact that I had pictures from the customer. So if the customer says this new door goes, hey, the door's not sealing on this side, I'd be like, like, well, let's look at the pictures you sent me. You sent me. You know what I mean? Well, was the door not down all the way or something? I mean, I see light on both sides, dude. Heck, we only got light on one side. So I'd say we did a better job than what your old door. So just things to think about. Resetting. To go out. Okay, yeah, face to face. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. When take extra minute, someone they'll remember it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, there's all different ways to skin a cat, you know. I think what burned me was when I remember, I think the one that got me, that took me over the edge a little bit, was that lady that I was getting all these insurance jobs. And I kept quoting these insurance jobs, and I never get the job. And then I don't know if you're like a psycho like me, right? So you like to drive past your job you looked at. I wonder, what the heck, man? You know? Like, whatever happened to that job? Well, I would do that occasionally, and I'd see the door was replaced. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I got really irritated, because I don't know about you guys, but it takes me a while, especially if it's more multi-doors and different doors and stuff, to like kind of do estimates. especially if you got like angle and you got wire and just, you know, residential's not so bad, but, so I remember this lady calling, and I remember, like I said, I was already in this trend. I've already done like mind you, I've done like 6 or 8 of these, and we haven't got the job, so I'm kind of getting irritated. And this lady's like, "Yeah, I need an estimate." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "What's the size door?" "No, I need somebody to come out here and give me an estimate. I need it for my insurance." And I was like, already like, "Oh no." So I said, "Well," I said, "we can give you an estimate. It's not a problem." I said, "But we charge $35." And I remember her just automatically just like, "Oh, she, you know, it says free estimates." I said, "It is free." I said, "You tell me what size the door is." I said, "I'll gladly give you prices over the phone." I said, "Not a problem." I said, you know, and she just kind of really flipped out and said, "I'll have to call somebody else." And I thought, that's fine. You call somebody else. Because, like, for us, it's kind of like, it's like one of those things like right now. Like, I can barely breathe. We're so damn busy. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'd be damned if you go down that road of hiring another guy, another truck, another set of power tools, more of this and that right now, especially with the way the economy kind of is being funky. We need the good paying customers. You know what I mean? So I'd rather be wasting my time doing this cleanup, you know, of a bigger job that, you know, basically pays over, you know, 9K profit, and I have to spend a day or two even cleaning up than to be out running, you know, for certain people that are just wasting. Because in our neck of the woods, this is our neck of the woods, we have a lot of people that just, they just don't think or they don't care. I mean, I remember the last one I got, the last emergency call. This guy calls, and he's like, "Do you work on man doors?" I'm like, "Not really." I was like, "I might have somebody." And he's like, "Well," he goes, "you know," and he's like, me and my girlfriend got in a fight, so I kicked the door in." And I'm just like, "Okay." And I'm like, and I already told him, I said, "I mean, if you're having somebody come out today, try to board it in this," I said, "You're probably a minimum looking at like $300. And I mean, the guy was just like, "Oh." He's like, "Man," he's like, "You know, I'm thinking like 50, $60." And I'm just like, let's just, you're not our customer here. Call somebody else. But we have a weird demographic. We really do. A near call worm gear part, something compatible with. Oh, operator looks sort of like a LiftMaster. Picture never done one. Nice. Free shipping over $150 orders. Is that from Service Spring? Service Spring, so good. Yeah, Chip, you can't get that worm gear from Service. He says, "I already tried." Are they discontinuing it? Seems like a lot of things, a lot of these companies, boy, it's speeding up really fast. They're sunsetting a lot of things. I think they're going to start pushing us. Like, I keep wondering even about like the used car market or these openers, like how long it's going to be. And then they're going to start figuring out that it's like, well, we don't want these people working on their own things. We want to make it so frustrating that they just have to, you're going to have to buy new. You're going to have to buy new. You're going to have to buy new. Spend more money. Spend more money. Neither one had it. Wow. Oh, maybe it's a different style. Oh, yeah, 2026. I don't know. This one had buttons, Dave. Oh, no knobs. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know how those limits run on the Stanleys. Like I said, I very rarely work. I'm always tearing them out. Like old Stanley. Like I said, if it runs, I'll mess with the J arm to make it sit right, but I will not touch it. That's like if I touch it, it just goes kapoof every time. Every time. And I always have to be, I hate being the one. I absolutely despise it. And I'm sure we've all been there. And if you haven't been there, you're going to be there. Where it's like, there's nothing worse. They already spent the money, and it's different for me because sometimes I don't detail them, So sometimes you come into a situation and it's just a rehook, it says, and you're like, oh. And the last thing I want to do is have to knock on the door and be like, yeah, sorry, it's gonna be another $3, $4, $6, $8, $1,200. Like your opener went to poo, and they're like, but it worked fine before. And I'm like, I know. I was up there with a bat like a piano, and I was just beating the crap out of it, so we could get more money out of you, you know. And they're like, but I'm on fixed income. Like, I know, and my kids need shoes, but bright chip, everything. I just tried to order. They looked. They're in Miami, Ohio. Nobody had it. I ended up one half line, but it looks more like an old, more Amatic. Oh boy, boy, oh boy. Maybe check eBay. I've sometimes have luck on eBay. eBay or just a Google search. Sometimes you can find stuff, to pop up through a certain vendor. But look with action door. Oh. Dead shaft chain ordered Thursday morning, Saturday afternoon. Oh, damn. Cheaper than authority for one item. Nice. Professional action account. Oh, well, that must be like, is that like Amazon Prime? Only change Genie and Liftmaster. Yeah, pretty much. I've maybe done one linear, but very rare. Change gears or gear sprockets in the air. Yeah. That's how I do it too. Nah, I don't pull them down. It's too much risk. It's too much work. You guys are changing gears. We change gears. What's up, Rich? Disposable. Oh man, isn't that the truth? I fear that is what we're running into. It's really sad. I really feel bad because man, I hate playing that cat and mouse game. Like I'm really looking at I've been really looking at the Dodge. I think they came back out with the Hemi, but I'm listening to the guy that used to be a technician for him for whatever 10, 20 years, whatever he says, and I'm like, he's like, they figure if you get 100,000 out of it, that's pretty good. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, and then it's like all I'm worried about is I guess you can change the oil pump on it, but I'm just like, man, that's like, how much idling we've done with this cold weather. Like, and I never had to walk past one Chevy van, one of the older vans right now, and be like, hey man, like don't let that thing idle. Like that thing idling doesn't get enough oil lubrication. It's going to chew up the cam. Like that doesn't even cross my mind. And I don't know. It's a real booger. I'd like to see the wife get into a newer, I mean, the one that she bought back in the day there, 17, been a great vehicle. I mean, all I had one time I think was a water pump, which was kind of, I thought a little more premature, but 60,000 I think. Other than that, no major. I think she's got 120 on it now. Nothing crazy. One wheel bearing. Great vehicle. But now it's hybrid. If you go into a minivan, and it's like, ugh, like I don't want a hybrid. Every time, star rating. When you help professional, goes a long ways. And so do the Google. Boy, I tell you what, we have been entertaining the Google, what is it? Google verified. Wow. I think we had to have 3 different forms of insurance, which we have. It's just a matter of digging it up. Now we have to do background checks on everybody that works in the business. I mean, talk about some hoops to go through. Holy moly. Like, I am glad we were going to use this guy that come in, use his service, and he does website and all this. They promise you the world kind of thing. And I was telling the wife of Tron, I said, it's probably better that you're kind of fighting through this. I said, because otherwise they'd be calling you for all this information, because this is like real secure information that nobody's just going to have access to. So, but what, wow. But not boards, push gear kits. Yeah, I kind of agree with that statement. It depends on, maybe grandma or something, but yeah, man, those circuit boards have gotten so expensive that it's just like, Why do you know what I mean? Like you're like, when you start hitting, to me, it's like when you start hitting 150, 160, 180 bucks, that's for the part. That's not even like, now you already been out there too. You know what I mean? So now how many trips have you made? And then you start eating it when you're sitting there, when you go, man, I should be making $65 a pop. Let's just say on a low end for a service call. I mean, I'd rather just take a haircut on a new opener, you know what I mean, and be done with it. Customer's happy. I move on. Hopefully they get a year out of it. And versus I show up there, I do the work, I got in. Oh yeah, I took today off of work to make sure I can meet you here. Blah 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 blah. And then you're like, oh, this still didn't fix it. And they're like, what? And then now, like I said, it's gotten so bad. You don't know if they actually sent you. Maybe that's not even a good board. You know what I mean? So it could be a board. It could be, now it's an RPM sensor. It could be multiple things. 25. Go. I gotta go in Daytona. I love it. I love it, man. Go get him, man. When are we getting down there? It's nice and warm. Let's get down in Daytona. All about that. Oh man, I know, isn't that? I know. I don't know how far he can go. What did we supposedly got rid of the auto? I mean, that sounds like that's a pretty solid thing now. From what I've heard it from two or three different other sources, that the auto push start stop thing has been discontinued. So I think that's a great thing. You know what I mean? I just heard a car yesterday, even at the intersection, that was doing the, started back up. So that's great. But what was the one that I was thinking? It's that one with the diesel. I think we're supposed to see some cheaper vehicles come in. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know why we have to be shoved down our throat that we can't have the cheaper, littler trucks or whatever. Like, it's all controlled. I mean, it's all controlled by the government. It's all controlled. Like, everything you do is controlled. And I don't know how, it's like they can only go so far too. Whoever's, it's like they send us a little bit of, they sprinkle us with a little bit of sugar every once in a while, but I don't know. Then what scares me the most would be is like, who's going to be the next in line and how much will they, but I think what would be the best, I'm sure Rich would agree with this too, right? What would be the best is people quit buying this stuff. You know what I mean? But it's really tough. Like the business industry of the garage door business is really tough because I'm up to about 20 years and it's tough. Like, I don't want to worry about a vehicle. What's up, PT? Or this is PC. You gonna come up here? Come say hi. What's up, PC? What's up? Got popcorn. Yeah. Come up. What's up? You might see him roll out there. But it's like, I would have never thought in the business back in 07, 08, even 2010 era or whatever, I would have never thought I'd be in a situation where it's like you have money to deploy, right? And it's like, in my brain it was always like, all right, well, you just stay on top of it, right? You just wear these vehicles out and then you jump. But the problem is, it's a huge challenge, because then the price, when you look at the price of stuff, it's doubled almost, these pickup trucks and that, and you're getting a less, when they say, well, they consider if you get 100,000, I used to pay 30, 40 for a truck. Now I'm paying 60, 80, and now you only get 100. I mean, the old trucks would at least get 200, 300, pretty solid. So it's really tough when they keep feeding this garbage. I don't know what's going to change. But yeah, you can vote, you know what I mean? You can vote with your dollars. I just watched another video, I think the car nut guy or whatever online, or car guy online, and he was talking about how still the 6.2s are still chewing up motors. And it's like, and I love how they put a recall on like the last year, but they don't do this year because they don't want to put a stop sale on their own ones in the dealership, right? Oh yeah, they're really looking out for you. Holy cow. Machine warranty knock yeah, yeah. The new boards are around, yeah, $200, man. So that's what I mean. That's just when you see openers, when openers are like $200, it's hard to. I don't know why openers haven't gone up really in price. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. PC. I keep saying PT. So Mr. Popcorn. Yeah. Don't be knocking stuff, you little crap. That's all right. A good old cat will make your blood pressure drop. Don't you buy the green agenda? Oh man. Oh man. It's crazy. You know, I just can't believe I really need to that little stinking cat. I gotta you know, I really feel like I should post some of those videos that Rich B has sent me because I tell you, we got so much knowledge with us older guys. And I know I'm middle. I'm not as old as some of you, but I just it's just amazing when you look at stuff how much they screw you over, you know. And that's why when I read that book, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it said, you know, taxes is the highest thing you'll ever pay, and I thought bull crap, you know. I thought I just bought this house for 80 some thousand, you know. And now I look at it and it's just like everything you bring into your life has some kind of, it's almost like a subscription. It's either it's taxed, it's out of your control. That's the worst part, you know what I mean? That's why I've never liked. I was kind of messaging Rich on this, but that's why I never liked electricity, right? Because nobody like I can, you know, sometimes I even buy like electronic things, like I'll buy a little electric space here or something because I'm like I will never get a gripe. Isn't this kind of weird to think this way, right? But I will never get a gripe from my wife about the electric bill, right? Because she will never turn off the electric. Like she'll never look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I mean, she might say it's high or something, but she'll never say we should turn this off. Like we should live like the Amish. So it's like you buy a little electric heater or something, right? You're like, well, I'm gonna buy an electric heater because if I buy a propane heater, you know, I might have to ask mama for some money or something. And she's gonna be like, you know, that's quite a bit for that propane that or that diesel you're buying or that kerosene, you know, but if I plug it into a wall and I suck all the juice I want and I get what I want, which is a little heat or something, you know, it's just weird. But I never liked that. I never liked the concept of using something and then seeing a bill and then paying for it. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I liked when you know we got like propane, right? When we heat the, I mean, propane's expensive. Don't get me wrong, but I like the idea that we're supporting a local company and their family. I do like the idea that you know, I can actually go out and look at a gauge and go, ooh, man, we're using quite a bit. Probably should slow it down a little bit, you know, because the next fill up's going to be. But even propane's a little sketchy sometimes too because you know, I think they raised the price during the prime time here, but it's just amazing, just amazing. Um, easy knockout roll pin. Oh yeah, support their green. Bottom remove support. Motorhead. Hammer lightly greased. Yeah, I take the whole assembly. I never mess with the gears unless I absolutely have to. I got one sitting here. You know what I mean? Like I always changed out the whole kit. For the price. I mean, yeah, can you do it a little cheaper? But you got to have that little bracket. But what's always a problem is sometimes you don't catch that top bushing is going bad. And what happens? You'll tighten your chain up, then you'll lose your chain. I've done that so many times where I've seen the chain and then I feel so proud of myself. I tell the customer, I'm like, yeah, by the way, your chain was kind of dragging, so I tightened it up for you. You know, and then like 2 weeks later they call me and they're like, hey, that chain popped off my opener. I don't know why. And I'm like, I don't either. And I go back, well, it's because that bushing's going bad. So I just change out the whole assembly. I forget somebody, I think PT was talking. Oh, he changes the bushing out that one rides in here too. I never had a problem with that one, but that's not a bad idea either. Change out that bottom bushing. I think they give it to you. This gear, I never knew this gear. I mean, I think I've done one. I seen it had like a nick or something, like a real bad score in it, and I was like, yeah, I can't really trust that. So what I've learned, 7 likes, by the way. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. What I would do is I pull this all out of the package. Is what I've learned over the years. I pull it all out of the package in the van, man. Nobody can see it in the van. And so I'd pull it out of the package just like this. I'd bring it up. I think somebody stole the grease, aka me, out of this one. I'd bring your grease, right? Bring your grease and bring this. And I'd bring that into the building, especially you got an old timer. I would not bring this because all of a sudden if it's sitting on the floor, first thing he starts doing is well, what are all these extra parts for? Aren't you going to put these in? You know, and I'm like, and then he's like, what's this? And I'm like, nope. I'm like, we're not. Because what I was told is that this is actually a harder plastic. It's made of a different material, which actually has a different color to it. So this is made to give, you know what I mean? But this one, you don't have to worry about. So I never change this one, the small one. I always change this whole, but I always just bring this in. I bring my grease in. I leave this in the van or your truck. So that way it just eliminates process of elimination. So they don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. It's because MPGs, yeah, which is sad. You know, I mean, I thought about this years ago. I got an old Dodge, right? It was a 2-barrel 318, and that truck got like probably around 15, maybe 18. I think 15 was probably more standard for it. And I remember seeing all these newer trucks, and I kept thinking like, they show online or something like, this truck averages 16 to 18, city and highway or something. And I'm thinking, damn, my truck's like 15 years old or something, you know, whatever. And I'm thinking, that truck gets like 15. And I'm thinking, what are they bragging about? You know, that this miles per gallon, like, this doesn't get 16 to 18. I thought 16 to 18, it's how many years ahead of are we? Like you would think we could, you know, almost get double, but they don't. And that's why there's something about that petroleum you got to watch. I think there's some guys out there that work off the fumes or something. They found ways to make, you know, I have no doubt there is so much energy around us that we don't tap into. You know, that's just wasted energy. Oh, wow. I probably should get scooting here soon if I'm ever get over in power wash. The government milk machine. It's something, man. We're peasants. That's why I like The Matrix. If you guys ever get a chance, watch The Matrix. Watch the whole series of The Matrix. That really made me think how we are a battery cell of some sort. Deep reinstall, roll pin. If you don't change bushing, it might mess up the limits. Chip, got a video on that one. I'm with you 100%. Okay, gotta go racing. Electric is too easy. Switch, yep. Energy waste, water. Energy waster is all the function. Phantom, oh yeah, the phantom power. Like, so that's like your cell phone plug-ins and stuff like that. That's why I always thought of, like, if I was to build a house, I was thinking I would like have certain zones that you could like turn off, which I forget what my theory was on it. Like, you could almost shut your house down and just have your essentials, like maybe like the fridge, stuff like that running, but just to shut it all down. Oh, that bad bushing will throw, I didn't know that. Interesting. That's good to know. I've never seen a bushing bad. Most of the time they're always pretty solid. I only seen the top ones. I'm sure if the top one's been bad for quite a while, it puts strain in the bottom and it could definitely compromise. I've never really paid attention, but I tell you what, I will now if ever change out. But we don't have to worry about that anymore, guys, because the new openers don't have these anymore. It's just, you're going to change out the whole motor and gearbox at the same time, and by that time, you're just going to get a whole new opener. Pepper on it. Oh yeah, yeah. Relieve the package in the truck. I just have too many people. Normally, like if it's a wife or something that's home, not a big deal. You know what I mean? But when I got that old timer out there that he's sitting there fiddling with stuff on the workbench, man, he's just itching for something to do. And he's, the only reason you're here is I can't climb ladders anymore. And I'm just like, I used to do garage doors. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. That son of a biscuit, he will be scouring my tools. He'll be scouring everything. It's almost like I could put him to work for myself. I'll be like, all right, you're going to hand me this. I need you to grease that. I need you. I love the old timers. Air pumps pump so much air. CFM until something blows. I know, isn't that crazy? I was actually washing the truck, the Nissan. I think I got possibly a coolant leak somewhere. So I just had the wife. It's kind of weird. I looked at Harbor Freight. Their cheapest one was like 100, and then the one I think I need was like 139. It's got the more like the metal cap type style. It clicks in. And I was like, well, probably should just go to Harbor Freight. And this is why you got to do your homework, right? Men and women. So I just saw, I'm going to check the old Amazon. I was like, just to see. And I thought, I'm not dying for it. I really don't want to drive that far and the public and all that stuff. And what always turns me off is when I got to go to Harbor Freight and I just want to buy something. And they're like, what's your phone number? And I tell, it doesn't look like you're signed up for our Extreme Members program. Would you like to sign up? You can say it. And I'm just like, please just let me pay for this and leave. Like, how about you just give me the best deal right now and don't have me sign up for this member stuff and all this other crap and, ask me a bazillion bunch of questions and then ask me if I want to buy the extended warranty for $3.99. So I just looked it up on the old Amazon, a pressure tester, and for, what is it, 39 bucks shipped. That's even for tomorrow. I'm like, you know what? Probably can't beat that. So we'll give it a whirl. Hopefully it's got the right fitting. Didn't really have a lot of descriptions. It had like 3 different metal caps. I'm sure one of them will fit. If not, it's probably got the adjustable something. So we'll see. But I don't know if I got a hose or I'm hoping it's not like a head gasket because it's a weird spot in the back of the motor. I seen a little green, but when I under power washed the truck, I got one of those, whatever you call it, underneath power washers. And it was, I seen a little green coming down. I'm like, what in the heck? And I haven't seen any green out of the truck. But what was weird is I've noticed, but sometimes my truck makes short trips. I've noticed a little bit of condensation in the cap, that milkiness, like the truck's not getting warm enough, burning it off. And so I'm like, I've never noticed that before. It's still in the same trips or whatever. So I'm like, am I like getting coolant somewhere in the oil? And I checked dipstick, can't find no milkiness or anything, but something to keep an eye on. Bushing score, cost, small jump in limits. Oh, floor within 2 weeks. Wow, didn't know that. Oh, never leave with one thing. What's the HF? Or bad head gasket? Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a test too you can do for the coolant. Like you can check the fluid to see if there's that I forget what they call it, the carbon gases or some kind of gases. It's not, the reservoir is not low or anything. It's just I noticed a little green on the exhaust a couple weeks back, and I was like, what is that? And then when I was power washing underneath, I could see green coming down. It was so weird, because I haven't seen green anywhere else. I haven't seen it in the floor or concrete or anything. And I'm like, so it's almost like it could be. I've had a hose do that before too, where it's like a pinhole, like it's like it'll leak when it wants to. So I do see a couple older hoses back there. I see one's been replaced from the previous owner. So it's just something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on. I got an evacuation, I think for my diesel, for my Cummins back in the day. So I did put that on there, which is probably not the best because you're introducing air if there is a leak. But I wanted to try something, and I didn't notice it go down a little bit, but it wasn't really accurate enough for my liking. So I figured we better do it the other way around and put the pressure in, and then see if we have a slight leak. Like I said, the truck's kind of, I hate to admit it, but it's kind of getting on its last straw. I think it's getting up there. So I think I'm gonna have to. I don't know if it's gonna be. Sometimes I love the older Chevys, like the '98s. I love the seats in them. They're so comfortable. And then I look at the newer ones. They don't look as comfortable, but it's more modern. So I probably would go up to, gosh, I don't know, 17, 18, somewhere in there. I don't want the 10 speed. I like the 6 speed. So, do like a 6 liter with a 6 speed. That's kind of the way I've looked. Or I don't know. I don't know about the Dodge. Like I said, a new Dodge with the Hemi. I don't think I want to do that Hurricane with the twin turbos. That sounds problematic in the future, and it looks like a lot of complications under the hood. It looks very hose driven. It reminds me of the 6.4 diesel I had when you opened the hood, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's like, where do you work on this thing? It's just got tubes and pipes and hoses and everything running everywhere. I've never seen such a complex motor. I was like, I have no clue what this does. But what I do like is obviously was it the Car Wizard. He was showing that they had to do a head gasket twice. They used these different cams or lifters, and they were bad, the AC Delco ones. And I have heard a lot of that problems happen. But he said it was the guy that was working on it said it was pretty easy to swap it back out on those LS based motors, which I do believe are pretty solid. So, and then sometimes I look at the Tundra, not the new ones, the what was it 21 and older to 07 ish, but I still forget where they put the starter on that thing. And the one thing I worry about is if you ever want to put a plow on it, you want to keep it for later on or accessories, they're just not as fluent as like everybody knows the Chevys, but then I look at there's a Ford out there, which I don't know if this is accurate or not. They got the Ford Cutaway they're still making. So they use a 7.3, which that eats cams occasionally too, it sounds like. But what I liked is that from what I understand, they still use a 6-speed in that. And I thought, interesting. They still use a 6-speed in that and a brand new. But the one I thought I'd seen a couple of them only for 45. And I thought this must be some kind of gimmick, because otherwise you see them for 65 too. So I don't know. But if something is in the 40s, that's not so bad. I don't mind the 40s or 50s. But when you start hitting 60 plus, I think that's getting too close to my first house. Yeah, that's right. Because see if it blows. Yep, blows the cap. I've seen them do that. I don't know if this would be bad enough because I haven't noticed. I mean, I guess it could be. But I haven't noticed any overheat. Maybe the truck's got a good circulation in it where it doesn't get vapor locked. So maybe I will try that. I don't know. Anything's possible, I guess. Black is fuel mixture. Google says white coolant. Yeah, the coolant looks good in this one. Everything's nice and green. Like I said, I change the oil about every 3,000 on it. That's what I should do for all the vehicles, honestly. And then I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, she's still running. Doing her job. She's like I said, I don't know what's. It's always had these weird. I think it's in the torsion tubes or torsion bars in it. They got a weird clunk. I think that's where it's come from. But I know I'm getting due for rear brakes. I think the front are still okay. So it just sucks. It always happens like this. When you start getting in the heat of, because now I'm driving the truck harder than I normally do. You know what I mean? So you're putting it through more paces. I'm hauling more weight than I normally do. You're trying to be performance based because now if you're helping, when you're in the business, it's always go, go, go. So the truck's being pushed harder. And then once you're out in the field, you don't, and that's why I'm saying the industry we're in, it's kind of I've never found a good video that really explains it, but it's always a weird gamble. Like, like, I agree, hey, it's nice to show up in a very presentable vehicle. You know what I mean? I do think that is not a bad thing. I mean, it could be more negative than it can be positive. Like, I never had that problem. Um, but it's tough. It's tough when you're, um, and then it's like, probably a van would be really the best, um, because like the truck can still be used more for some personal. Um, but with a van, you lose the capability of possibly hauling a third person, and you lose your four-wheel drive unless you do like something that's an all-wheel drive. But from what I see, most of them are 1500s if you do the Savannas or the Chevy Express. So 15 is definitely not probably the way to go, but it would have been nice to have a little more juice yesterday pulling the scissor lifts. So that's why I don't think we can go the Ford Transits, because I don't think they have big enough motors. They don't have enough power for what we do for hauling. So that's kind of unfortunate. I do think I swear they put a diesel in one of those things. And I thought, oh my goodness, I bet that thing's a tank. But you know, to resell it and all that, I don't know. It seems kind of weird. The hand crank windows. Oh man, I wanted hand crank windows. I love my old truck has hand crank windows. I loved it because then the damn kids don't play with it. But now that they gotten older, it doesn't seem to be a problem. But man, when we're in that like that 5, 6 year old, whatever, that stage, holy crap, man, up and down, hitting the child lock thing so they can't do it. Quit playing with the freaking windows. Wear them out, or letting the heat out, and or all of a sudden, you're just driving along, listening to music. You get like 2 minutes of your own peace, and all of a sudden, you hear the wind. And you're like, whoa, what, and you look, and the kids over there smiling, and it's like, but it's funny because when they were in the truck the one time, it's like they can't reach it, and they're, and so they're doing like the look, how do you open the windows in this? Don't you worry about how you open the windows in. You just leave them alone. And then I'm like, it's that crank, and it's funny to watch them sit there and struggle, and they do it maybe once, maybe twice, and they're like, yeah, screw this, it's too much work. Gray, oh, engine, worn out rings. Yeah, this one, the engine part was like that milky, for the oil, but the coolant looks spot on. It looks like brand new. I know I've stayed on. I'll do a lot of like, I got that suction thing, so I'll pull the fluid out. I don't do like a full complete drain, but I'll suck stuff out and then put new stuff in. And that way I don't like traumatize the system all at once, because I've had too many problems. Heck, on one of the Savannas or the express vans, you couldn't even get to the drain. It was like blocked by a piece of metal. I'd have to bend it down. It wasn't impossible. I was like, screw this. I was like, I'll just shove a hose down this thing and suck out and then put it back in and call it a day. Clean truck, true. Yeah. I mean, most of the vehicles, I would agree. Most of the vehicles now, they all look pretty much, they're all bubbles and just, so, if you can get like a southern vehicle. For us, unfortunately, in Michigan, we have the problem with rust. So that's the biggest thing. You don't want to have a rust bucket. Too bad, but I would agree. You know what I mean? Clean. I mean, if you're wearing the appropriate apparel, not flip flops and sweatpants, that can go a long ways. And how you hold yourself. A lot of it's confidence. And it depends on where you're going. Like I said, sometimes I think about, like I said, we had to go to that fire department, and I was really glad, because I was debating if we could do it off a ladder. I was going to take my truck, and I thought, yeah, it's like my truck really isn't appropriate for the fire department that we've had for years. And even the guy, when I walked up, he was like, hey, you're not the normal guy. And I said, nope. I said, I'm here. I said, we're going to get you fixed up. And shook his hand, and a good, firm handshake. And it was like I just, like, with that handshake, I gave him the confidence, like, dude, you ain't got to babysit us. You ain't got to worry about it. Like, it's just going to work. Like, we're going to get this job done as efficiently, as fast as we can here. And we're going to get you back up and running, okay? And that's all it was. And so we went to town. We brung the scissor lift, which we were glad we did. And but it's funny when you're in there, how your mind plays all these games. So I'm in there, and I'm thinking, man, I'm like, this scissor lift's starting to look kind of rusty. And I thought, I don't even know who you take this to that does it. I thought about calling our rental place and see who they use, or if they do it or something, how much. They probably want an arm or leg if you do it from them. but I know you're supposed to put all the stickers on it and all this stuff. And but I was thinking this lift, it's got this weird crustiness to it. Like it needs to be washed. You know what I mean? Like the base in it, like it needs to be washed. And so I think that might happen this week. But it's just funny when you're there and you're looking at all these nice fire trucks. You know, some are older and some are newer. And like you said, it's kind of the same thing when you're there. You're like, you know, hey, that's an old truck, but it looks good. It's clean. It's properly maintained. But you know, when you're sitting there looking at your equipment, or you know, you're kind of going like, man, we could do better. You know, this thing needs a paint job. This thing needs to be washed. You know, so I was glad that we had one of the work vans. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you know, your mind's racing how you need all this stuff. You know, we need a better service vehicle. You know, we need a newer scissor lift. You know, and you know, the trailer's getting kind of old. You need, you know, so it's a challenge in the trades. It really is. I just watched a guy. I think he was going to buy, he doesn't like to buy brand new because he was showing how the payments are. I think he had to buy like 6 or 8 trucks, quite a bit. He was like a lawn care. And I was agreeing with him. You know, he's like, he's not going to buy anything that's like I think 2020 or up. He was buying everything that was going to be like, I think from whatever, you know, '07 or whatever, or something like that, to 2015, let's just say, give or take. So kind of what he was aiming for. And I was like, yeah, those are good, solid, you know, trucks. With the 6-speed, you ain't got all the weird craziness if you stay in a 2500 platform. No cylinder deactivation stuff. So, but it's tough. It's tough. More important than the gear. Yeah, got to keep it clean, got to keep it maintained. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I know you guys know how it is. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think about it. Rich wants to send me a picture. I see. I love it. I love it. It's just a lot of work, you know. It's just a lot of work on the weekend here, just getting stuff cleaned up, making sure your tools are ready. Because when you're out there, man, when you're out in the field, you know, you're challenged, man. It's a lot of work. So my hat's off to you. You know, if you're out there trying to put food on the table, it's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of behind the scenes. And that's why I'm always kind of preaching. Honestly, if I was a young buck again, I'd probably be doing like vending machines. I'd probably be doing like porta johns. I'd be doing dumpsters. I'd be doing something else, because I'd keep investing. Make sure you invest in that money, because there's just so many variables, man. So many variables. And I loved it the way Cat put it. He put it. We're at that job. And I said, well, obviously this one went a lot smoother than the second one. He said, yeah, but he said, you guys walked so we could run. And I was thinking, you're right. You know, like figuring out the spreader bar, making sure we have, you know, the split collars. You know, I knew all the little secrets. We ended up using a regular hammer with a sludge hammer. So you'd be hitting the back of the small hammer with a sludge hammer, and that just seemed to work the best for getting them in the tight space. So there's just all these little things. Keeping the guys on the job site was great. Instead of us splitting for lunch, you know, we got lunch delivered. That helped out a lot. Gosh, I don't know what else was there. Putting that bracket on there for the cable, or the chain tensioner. This one we didn't have to do the wood backhangs, but it also helped having a lot of skilled guys. Oops, I froze for a minute. You know, a lot of skilled guys helped a lot. These guys are trained, man. They know what they're doing. The men and women at AFD do an amazing job. They really do. There's a lot of years of experience, and they hustle when we need to hustle. You know, I definitely couldn't be any more proud of them. They do an awesome job. But it takes a lot of time, and it's not easy. There's still, You know, I'm still learning things. Things are always changing, products changing, vehicles are changing, unfortunately, which really is irritating. Maybe I just get me another Frontier, you know? Just get me a new, I think the new ones are running 40 though. 40 for a new Frontier. But, I don't know. It'd be nice to have a little more towing capacity. Oh my gosh! There we go. Bungee that off. Bringing the big dog power washer. Oh crap, you guys were gonna let me forget my spray foam. Can't be doing that. My foam cannon. I gotta bring at least the salt stuff that's not really that good, but I wonder if I put some detergent in there, if that'd mess things up. If I put some dish soap, gotta use the Dawn. Dawn's the best. That's what saves the world, right? Use it for little birdies. Definitely always appreciate the videos. Keep your eye out, Rich. If you've seen, I've been looking at a different model than that Arctic for that steamer. I think that might be a cool little side gig, you know, or rent the thing out. Because boy, this year we got hit, man. Even myself on some of the properties and stuff had all kinds of ice buildup with ice dams, and that's a pretty sweet system. I don't see it anymore on the market. There was one for $5,000. They had the Arctic one, and so there's another company out that makes them, but I think they're like, ooh, I don't know, $6,000 to $8,000, which is probably about the same price for the Arctic. So. Right, you know you have a good crew. When no one needs to talk. No, I mean, nobody really has to ask questions. You know, everybody just has, you know, we all stay busy. You know, we all just do our job and get right in there. It was like wine in the springs, man. We just all took our turn, and I was so bummed that darn gear didn't come in till like an hour after we were done. Oh, I was bugging. I was bugging them. I was like, "Is that part come in yet in the mail? Did it come in?" I really didn't want the guys to have to wind those springs. I wanted to really try out that spring turner, but unfortunately, that just was not in the cards. It did not happen. All right, guys, I got to make a trip. I gotta go to work. So, adios, amigo. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the support. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. If you got anything, text me, email me, all that good stuff. Questions, got new information, new intel, anything, let me know. And we'll talk to you later. We'll see you on the next one.